don't care if it's a 300 horse 350 or something like this that's just going to make some high horsepower. I always get excited for this because it's going to be like the first time you put fuel and fire together, and you just poof. I got fire. It's a it's always fun and exciting. It doesn't matter if it's one of my own motors, a customer's motor. It just doesn't matter. I always love this. And you guys are going to get the idea of why, for me, a test stand is important, and you'll see everything happen and all that stuff, which is great. But yeah, I'm just super excited for it. So I'm not going to put you guys through the boringness of, putting every little thing on and all that. We're going to throw that through a time lapse, and then we'll be able to get this thing fired off so you can hear it, I can hear it. Fingers crossed for me, guys, that, we don't have any oil leaks or anything like that, because it doesn't matter how many you build. It always comes and bites you where it's like you get an oil leak, oil pressure doesn't work. I ain't jinxing myself. I am not jinxing myself. I'm stopping that right now.
What we have here, this bad mamma jamma 540 cubic inch big block. This is the procharged combination. Hey man, there's no procharger on it. Yes, I know that. What we're doing is we are putting it on the test stand to verify everything is going to be running good, working good, and you guys get to hear this bad boy come to life. I'm going to love hearing this bad boy come to life. And you might even be asking yourselves, hey, that's a really interesting test stand. Could I benefit from a test stand like that? Maybe. I tell you what, I'm going to answer that question in just 1 second. So, I can sit here and tell you all the benefits of a test stand and why they're cool. I mean, car guys, who doesn't want to have a test stand? I mean, they're just cool. You can make a bunch of noise, open header, rop, rop, rop. In the middle of wintertime, you can hear something, you can smell some racing gas, and it's just rah. Okay, we already know that. Every car guy wants one. But this is the big question. I can tell you all the benefits, but this is the big question, you guys. Do I need it? Okay, let me break it down real quick here. Let me break it down. I build a handful of motors every single year for myself and for customers. Now, that makes sense to have a test stand because not everybody wants to have a dyno run. They just want to be able to have a car kind of tuned in and be able to go to a car show or be able to drive it around and have fun. They're not blown 800 horse motors like this or 1800 horse 540s or 1300 horsepower 632. Some guys just want a nice 350, a nice 400 horse little 350 that they can putt around in that's got a good sounding cam. So you just do a test stand. Makes sense, right? Okay, are you somebody like that? All right, let's say you're not. Are you a project guy? Are you somebody who, I'll make it up, has a Fox body Mustang, or you have an S10, you do a V8 swap in it, and at that point you drive it for maybe a year or two, do some smoky burnouts, maybe go to the track, and then you sell it, you do it all over again. Isn't that the normal car culture life? Yes, it is. So at that point, it still might be beneficial for you. But let's say you're like some of the customers I've had, a little uncomfortable to build a motor, or they are going to do this one project, and they can build the motor themselves, because I've even had it just run it on the test stand, tune it for them. I've done that very rarely, but I've done that. But say you're just somebody that just wants to build it and just a one and done. Might not be for you, okay? So that's established. Figure out, do I need it, okay? Now, benefits. These are your benefits, and they are glorious. This is why I like having it. Biggest one, I can diagnose this thing on the test stand like that. Get it running. All of a sudden, let's go to the most common thing. Most common thing. All you know it? Rear main seal. That's right. How many times have you built an engine and it's like, oh, the frickin' oil pan's leaking, right? And you're looking at it and it's just like, I did everything right. Guys, it's going to bite you in the butt every once in a while. It still does it to me too. But throwing it on the test stand, I can see what's going on. I can get right up there, shine my flashlight and go, yep, it's coming from the, from the pan. It might not be pouring out of the rear main seal and then going from there. It could just be a pan issue. How many times have we thought vice versa? It's the rear seal or it's the pan, right? You can drop the pan right then and there. Maybe put a little silicone on it. Maybe you tore the gasket, whatever. But you can diagnose it right there, put it right back up again, and you're ready to go. Take a quick ride over to AutoZone or any parts store, get an oil pan gasket, throw it back up, and you're ready to rock and roll. So it might take you, let's say you're really fighting it, it takes you the full weekend to diagnose it, get it fixed. How many times have you guys, I'm speaking from, personal experience here, how many times you've been underneath that car on jack stands? Hey, Frank, fire the thing off, man. Fire the car off. You got that flywheel just going right there. I don't ever want to do that again. I'm not doing that again. That's why I got a test stand. It makes it so much simpler. And at that point, what do you have to do? You have to take the motor, take it out of the car, try to do all your goops and all that stuff, and try to figure out if it's a rear main, put it back together, throw it back in the car, crossing your fingers that you actually did it right. How many times? I know for me, I've had to take them in and out a couple of times. Well, if you're working 9 to 5, it's going to take you a month just to be able to do that. Are you going to burn out? Are you going to get to the point where it's like, forget this, I'm done with this car? Or is the test stand going to be able to just fix it and be one and done? Then you can finally put it in the car and you're good to go. Okay, I can also hear every little clackle this thing makes. Clackle. I'm going to use that word. Clackle, 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 clackle. But I can hear everything that's going on. Was that a rocker? Was it a rod? Well, I can't get in there because this freaking motor, I was not humping my car. But, your frame's in the way. Headers are in the way. You got all this stuff that's just in the way. You can't get right there. On a test stand, I can. So I can start figuring out, was it rocker? Was it this? Was it that? You can fully diagnose the motor to your best ability of what's going on. And I'll say here for the last thing is, and it works with the customers in this sense and yourself, I can tune the carburetor, and I'm just going carburetor here, make it simple. I can tune the carburetor to where idle mixture screws are set right. It's nice and snappy. You can just whop, whop, whop. You can just hit that throttle. It sounds good. I can give you a base time, small block Chevy, 383. All right, let's just set it at 38 degrees of timing. It might be up or down from there, but it's going to pretty much put you in the ballpark where you need to be. Everything's snappy. Everything's good. No leaks, no nothing. You can put it in the car. Once it's in the car, you know that this engine is perfectly fine. Now, you put it in the car and all of a sudden it starts running like garbage. Is it the engine? No. It's something in the car. Let's say so many times. We'll keep it on that S10. You got an 85 S10. So you got something that, holy cow, it's 40 years old. Man, I feel old. Anyways, 40-year-old wiring. You don't even think it's the wiring. You think it's this new thing that I built. And it's not. How long are you going to sit on this new thing trying to figure out what's going on, why it runs like crap when it could be a ground issue that you have going on and the fuel pump's just not running at full capacity or something like that, right? Makes sense? That's why a test stand is beneficial, you guys. So I hope that answered some of the questions. Maybe, hopefully, make some of you guys get a good decision on, do I need it? Do I want it? Obviously, yes, you want it. Do I need it? Okay? So let's get back to getting the 540 lid off here, and let's make some noise. So come on, you guys.
Oh my god. The cheapest exhaust is something amazing.
Little tip for you. I already went through and I hot lashed everything. I started on the side that the old man's on. Now, here's the little tip and trick that works out good for me, and it might work out good for you guys. When you hot lash it, by the time I start from, let's just say, number 1 and I finish with number 8, you know, the air is going to cool the motor down. It might be off a little bit, blah, 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 but some people don't mind that. Well, here's the thing. Go through, hot lash it, and then let the motor completely cool down. Once it cools off completely, go back over to that number 1 that was the hottest lash that you did. See what it is cold. When you know what it is cold, this right now is 20 and 24. So it's 24 hot, 20 cold. Now you can go through and you can adjust your valves without having to fire the motor off, warm it up, and then worry about that, hey, I might be getting a little colder and my lash might be a little bit off. Well, when you adjust it cold, it doesn't matter. It's ambient temperature. So once you do it that one time around, don't start the car if it's in the car. Let it cool off, see what it is cold, and then that's your adjustments from that point on. All right, you guys, we're going to fire this thing off open headered. I am going to set you up outside because I don't know if it's going to screw up the microphone so bad that it's just going to sound like ripped paper. Just so I'm going to set you guys up there, and we'll fire it off.
How does that not sound good?
If you liked everything that came out of that bad boy, really didn't have any problems. There's really no oil leaks. Just went through, hot lashed it. Right now we're at 29 degrees of timing. You guys probably saw that it had one carburetor on at one point, then we pulled it off. The CSU was literally just puking gas out. As soon as it would build like 3 pounds of fuel pressure, it was just blowing out of here. So that's telling me my needle and seat's getting stuck, and we're gonna have to figure that out. But this is the carburetor off the old man's 598, which worked perfectly, worked great. But it got us to the point where we could check everything out, make sure everything was doing what it needed to do. Sorry, still looking. We're cooling the motor off right now. I'm going to pull all the water out of it, and then the next thing that you guys see is we will be bringing this out to Steve's to put it on the dyno. So hit me down in the comments. Let me know if you guys liked it or not, and let me know if a test stand is something that you guys would like, because now that you got to see the purpose of it, maybe it's something that you'd want to put in your portfolio. So till we meet again, my friends, stay cool. Hope to see you out at the track. Take care.